Dun, dun, dun. Hey guys, man, we're live. Damon, good morning to you on your side of the world. It's good afternoon over here. How are you? What's going on, brother?
Awesome, Kurt. Ready for this week? Gonna kill some things.
Nice.
Get some things done.
That a boy. Just crushing it this week.
Yeah,
Had a great baseball game with your wife last night.
Oh, it was awesome.
Man, right?
Was that
good stuff for what? All right, we're full-fledged baseball season. Summer's in the air. Hot dogs are on the grill. It's Manufacturing Monday Motivation today. Man, are we super excited? We have my dear friend, Sarah. Good morning. Good afternoon. How are you today?
I know. It's lunchtime already. Isn't that crazy?
Man, what's for lunch? What's on the menu?
Oh, I mean, I might have brought some soup.
Oh, that a girl. All right. Well,
not exciting.
So, all right, our introduction today, we have Sarah Mailloux, right? Did I say that correctly?
Mm-hmm.
How's that? Because you did change. You had something exciting during COVID. I believe you got married. Am I correct?
I did. I did not change my last name, though. So that's still Mailloux. Yep.
So, all right. So we had a wonderful, you and I go back ways. We've had a wonderful couple years together. We're COVID friends, if you will. And you are a rock star. Now, I've watched you climb. It's been fascinating to have a front row seat to your career here. Now, we're going to talk about the SBDC. So for those of you out there like, what on earth is the SBDC? We're going to talk Small Business Development Center. Now, you've gone from, you have a little history here, but you've gone from Temple University, SBDC, and now, Damon, I don't know if you knew this. She is the Associate State Director of the Pennsylvania Small Business Development Center. Sarah, how on earth do you climb so fast, so quick? At such a young age? Talk to us. How did this happen?
I mean, I think whenever I give career advice to anyone, the biggest thing is really putting your heart into it and just being hardworking. I always advocate soft skills. And yes, I can connect this back to all the small business owners on the call. Soft skills will get you farther than hard skills 9 times out of 10. And SBDCs are the hidden gem of every state they exist in. So yes, we do a lot of really great work with small businesses. In every single state, you can find one of us. So I actually started at the Delaware Small Business Development Center. I was working for their office for a couple of years, and then elevated more to like a middle management position at Temple SBDC, like Kurt said, which is one of 15 centers in the Pennsylvania network. And just recently in February, I was promoted to our associate state director for the Pennsylvania network. So now I kind of work out of the HQ rather, versus like a service center such as Temple. But SBDCs are very unique, like public partnership with the university. So there's a lot of really strong details you have to work here. I just soaked it all in, learned as much as I could, made some connections, and once again, used those soft skills to really get you as far as you can in your career.
Well, all right. This is awesome. So, you know what, Damon, I got to go back to one, what's our favorite question on the show? Since Sarah's such an inspiration, and I've had a front row seat for a couple of years watching you in action, Sarah. So, just to let everybody know, we've had a great time. We put together a ton of webinars, workshops. We do all sorts of free events. I want to get into that in 1 second, but you're a rising star. So for any young entrepreneurs or folks starting out their career, we look at somebody like yourself who just rose so fast, so quickly to be the Associate State Director in the Pennsylvania SBDC. My question to you is this. You're a little girl growing up, I think, Delaware? When you were a little girl growing up, Sarah, who was your hero? Who do you credit for developing your leadership skills, being a rising star here? Who was your hero growing up?
Oh, wow. That is a really fabulous question. And this is going to sound probably corny, but that would have to be my mom. I grew up in a divorced family. My parents divorced when I was 4. My mom was a single mom for 15 years, and I'm the oldest of 4 kids. So, I really got to watch firsthand my mom just kill it at everything she did. She put her heart and soul into being a mom. There were some years where we had very little money. She had, daycare is expensive. So with 4 kids when we were young, she was a stay-at-home mom for a period of time there. But she actually has a bachelor's in biochemical engineering.
Oh, nice.
So as soon as we were, all in elementary and middle school, she went back to the industry. She does biochemistry in an arsenic gas lab. She's very cool. And she also started her own small business where she does Reiki and like chakra energy and like stones, that kind of thing. So she really brings like the hippie and the science gal together. She's just an all-star. So, she didn't have a perfect life, but watching that from a young age, I think helped with my soft skills, being able to
Yeah.
realize you have to really work for things. So yeah, once again, not to be sappy, but my mom is
No, that hey,
That's awesome.
What's mom's name?
Joanne.
Joanne. All right. Well, hey, hats off to Joanne.
Yeah.
God bless her for raising such a rock star, raising 4 kids, incredible inspiration. And so thank you for sharing your hero with us. And I know we've talked about grandma in the past. How's grandma doing? She doing okay?
Oh, she's fabulous. She's still up and walking. I mean, she recovered. For all those on the call, she had a very intensive surgery and had to get an ostomy bag last October, and
Oh boy.
she has just completely recovered. I mean, she is
Nice.
more spry than she has been in the last 5 years, and she turns 80 in 3 months.
Oh, that's awesome.
Very cool.
So, all right. So, hey, if anybody out there, drop us a note. Let us know that you're there. Gabe dropped us a note. He says, hello, fellas and Sarah. Gabe, how are you, brother? Hope you're doing great. Happy Monday to you. So, guys, we're here. It's Manufacturing Monday Motivation. We're here with Sarah from the Pennsylvania State Associate State Director of the Small Business Development Center in Pennsylvania. So, Sarah, let's dig into the SBDC. So, for folks out there, hey, I'm an entrepreneur. And I want to dispel the myth of like you have to be a new entrepreneur. That SBDC certainly helps seasoned veterans, companies that have been around for decades, even centuries, right? So let's talk about what is this Small Business Development Center? What are the opportunities for entrepreneurs there?
Yeah, sure. I mean, this is my favorite topic to talk about.
Awesome.
But yeah, SBDC, it's a heavy acronym, often gets confused with SBA. But
Right.
Small Business Development Centers are actually a nonprofit organization funded by the Small Business Administration. So we're government funded, but it's actually funded as a grant to universities. So you'll find SBDCs, and then Kurt will say things like, oh, you were at Temple SBDC. That's because every single service center is located at a university. And like I said, you can find ones in Delaware, Rhode Island, Michigan, Texas, Pennsylvania, wherever you go. There's at minimum one, the lead office, and normally many, many service centers. Pennsylvania is kind of big. So we have 15 that span the entire state, Philly to Pittsburgh. And what do we do? Why do we have this complicated organization created? It's really to help small business owners. And we use the federal guideline for that, which is anyone with less than 500 employees. So like Kurt said, it's not just startups. We really say that we're a cradle to grave organization. So we help people who are ideating. We help you if you're starting up, AKA you already have some market research and want to figure out how to get a license or employees. We help you if you're 5 years in, 10 years in, 20 years in, 30 years in and looking to sell or transition to your spouse, child, whatever it may be. But the most important part is that it is all no cost to you. You might have already used your taxpayer dollars if you want to look at it that way. So please do take advantage of these no-cost services. We have a team of consultants. So 90% of our staff are business consultants that specialize in key areas and key industries. So we have people who specialize in manufacturing, who specialize in agriculture, specialize in finances, hospitality, specialize in startups. So those of you that are like, I have an idea and I don't know what to do with it yet, we have people who are startup specialists who work specifically with that ideation stage. And then, of course, we do a host of programming, like Kurt mentioned as well. So if you're not feeling like you're ready to meet with a consultant, you can always just join one of our free webinars or workshops. But I will just say one more thing, Kurt, which I think is really important because I get asked this a lot.
Yeah.
You know, people ask, oh, well, do I get a consultant just once or how does that work? It's a free service, right? So you can meet with a consultant once and say, that's the direction I need. You can meet with them every month. You can meet with them for the next 10 years. We are just always here, always available. And I know that sounds crazy to believe, but that is truly what SBDCs do. And I'm so happy to be able to, once again, share my passions for the small business community through this great organization.
Absolutely.
That's cool.
And I want to give a shout out. We got Whitney joining us
Whitney.
here from Texas. So Whitney, good morning. Happy Monday to you. Hope you're having a great day. And so we're with Sarah, the Associate State Director of the Pennsylvania Small Business Development Center. Now, Sarah, I know you covered a lot of ground right there, and I just want to recap.
Yeah.
Now, you know, Sarah, you know I'm a little bit older. How much do your services cost? I didn't quite hear you correctly.
That would be no cost, $0.
No, okay, you said free. I thought I heard free. I just want to confirm that. So,
Yeah.
if any entrepreneurs, any businesses, any manufacturers out there, as Sarah just said, all sorts of wealth of information, resources, webinars, workshops, events, networking events, tons of expertise. There's nearly 1,000 centers throughout the United States. There's one near you. As Sarah just said, they're always parked at a university, a community college. They're really education based, and they're dedicated and committed to your success. So, sir, let's take a deeper dive. Okay, so again, a lot of Damon and I, we sing to manufacturers. We really don't sing because our voices aren't great, but we speak to manufacturers.
I do a little bit.
Damon, we do. You know what? We might have to have a karaoke show here, Damon. Yeah, you know what? We'll talk about that offline. But I think next week maybe we'll do karaoke. So that's another story. But we speak to manufacturers. Now, typically manufacturers, we love the ones that are starting up new, those innovators. However, most of them have been around for years, decades, generations, and they have, when I want to take a deeper dive here because a lot of them are like, hey, isn't it a small business development center just for startups? Or hey, I'm going to start up a business in my living room. Can you share? Let's take a deeper dive on what are some of the exact services you talked exit strategy, but let's go a little deeper. Yeah. What are some services for those seasoned veteran entrepreneurs?
Yeah, of course. I think that's a great question. And we actually deal with a lot of manufacturers in Pennsylvania. And so just a couple of quick examples, because when you're in manufacturing, especially for a long period of time, as a small business owner, you're dealing with a lot of different things. There's a lot of different moving parts. So some things can fall to the wayside, like perhaps your website. And we actually are dealing with a manufacturing company out of around College Park in the middle of our state. He has a PhD. He's been working at his manufacturing company for 20, 30 years. He has about 10 staff, and he creates this very specific part for airplanes, like a very small little part that then gets shipped off to Boeing and all those other big players. But his website was, it was like right out of 2002. I mean, it was,
that was a good year.
Very plain. There was not really any pictures. If you didn't know what his business did, it didn't explain what it did on the website. As someone who's in engineering or manufacturing, that might not be your area of expertise. You put the website up once and it sits for 20 years. So we have programs where we help small business owners build their website. We can use students to help you build it from scratch, or we have tutorials where we show you how to do it, or we have a consultant walk you through some of the best practices for building your site, looking at things like search engine optimization. Or you might say, I'm established and I have some money and I just want to pay someone else to do it, but you don't know where to find someone. We also help you find recommendations or the criteria that you should be looking at when you decide on who's going to be doing that kind of service for you. So really runs the gamut, but that is certainly one of our favorite clients to be working with right now. He's a total hoot. Another example would be like in food manufacturing. So not all manufacturing is metal and, wood and textiles. Someone wanted to start commercializing some sauces that they were just putting in cans out of their basement. First and foremost, you need to, start making that in a food kitchen, of course, but then having them partner with a supply chain logistics company so that they can then start shipping it out in bulk and having additional employees brought on and finding a new warehouse for them to store their items. So there are things that happen when you're, maybe 3-5 years in, and then you decide, this is a profitable business, but I really need to figure out how to expand and grow it now. And that's where we talk about things like growth strategies. So yeah, if you're a manufacturer out there thinking I need to find new space or new supply chain or a new channel, maybe a new online channel like Amazon, or even just a channel somewhere like you need to find some sales in your geographic area. Those are all other key consulting specialties that we have at the SBDC that we could assist you with.
Well, and the other thing I think that's really cool about the SBDCs, like you said, is the SBDCs may not provide that exact service, but you probably know some people that you trust that you could be, because one of the things that many small business people, professionals, owners, executives, whoever in these businesses, they spend a lot of time just finding somebody. So I need someone that knows website or Google or something like that, or even something, where do I find this product, or for my business or specialty service. You have those kind of resources that can help them shorten the time to finding someone that, hey, they've done it before, I'm going to be pretty happy with their service, and here they are. Because that can waste weeks and tons of money, because you get on the road with the wrong person or firm. It's a big deal, and that's what the SBDCs really can help you with.
Yeah, one of my favorite terms in business, and especially important for manufacturers, is economies of scale. So when you're working with an SBDC consultant, you don't have to do all of that legwork and 10, 20 hours of research to find someone, because the SBDC consultant probably has already done it, because they've helped 5, 10, 100 other clients just like yourself find that information. So you're benefiting from finding that information much quicker when you come to a trusted service like the SBDC.
That's a great point.
Right. And what's exciting about, so you were on our program, believe it or not, it was over a year ago.
Yeah.
So it was like, it was like a year ago, I think right around now-ish.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit later.
I think it was right after I got married.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, because your husband, I think, is a music.
He's a music teacher, yeah.
Yeah,
and our anniversary is Sunday. So
exactly.
Right around
really close.
Hey, what perfect happy
anniversary.
Round of applause, man. You know what?
There you go.
First year is the toughest. Now it's like piece of cake from Damon, what are you on? I'm on 20, what am I?
20 something.
25.
Yeah.
Like, it's a piece of cake, Sarah. So anyway, what I love now is when you were on board last time, you were a program director with Temple University. And again, what I want to really kind of emphasize for folks are like, okay, I'm starting to get an understanding here of this SBDC. So in Pennsylvania, amazing universities from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, across Interstate 80, 15 different centers. So they have subject matter experts who probably either were entrepreneurs themselves, have business expertise, have other areas of expertise that they bring to the table. So just like Damon's saying, so even though if I'm in a manufacturer in Erie, Pennsylvania, there might be an expert in Philadelphia that can be pulled in or what have you, right? So now that you've graduated in this wonderful promotion up to the state level, talk a little bit about like, how do you see things differently, or like, what's an overview that you see from the statewide perspective for entrepreneurs here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always in awe of just how diverse our consultants are and the work they do. Some of you might be in states that are similar, but Pennsylvania is just so diverse.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the very large city centers in Philly and Pittsburgh, and the things that those clients need is so different from like Clarion, Pennsylvania, where there's, like one person per square mile. I mean, there's more cows than people in the county. I mean, there's such a difference when you look at Pennsylvania's geography. But no matter where you go, we have people who specialize in helping clients no matter what level they're at. If you're that high profile person in Philadelphia who's like, I want to switch from a banking career to running my own financial consulting business, or if you're the farmer down the street in DuBois, Pennsylvania, who thinks, okay, I want to figure out how to start selling in food markets, or how to start shipping this to grocery stores. I find those partners. There is always someone there that can assist you. And one of the things that we actually promoted more during the pandemic, which will be here to stay now, this program called Centers of Excellence. So before the pandemic, people kind of used Zoom. This is not just SBDC specific, but the world in general had video capability and the ability to work with someone far away from you, but people did not really do it that much. I would say 9 times out of 10, our consulting meetings, like where a client meets with the consultant, was in person, just at their office. And then if you lived in Clarion, then you went to Clarion SBDC. And if you lived in Erie, then you went to Gannon SBDC. But because we've seen this pivot technology-wise, we created these items called Centers of Excellence, where we basically collect subject matter experts that, once again, have that economies of scale. They learn from each other. They create specific programming together at a university, but then that service is available and promoted statewide. So, for example, when I was at Temple, Kurt and I worked on a couple different manufacturing series that were centered around success in digital marketing. So digital marketing is something that Temple is known for as a center of excellence. So even if you weren't in Philly, let's say you were in Pittsburgh or Erie or wherever you were, Scranton, you could still get services from that center of excellence and get that digital marketing expertise that has been built up as high profile. You are more than welcome to come in person, but you'll probably do it over Zoom and it'll be just the same. But having that ability at the lead office to just see all of the statewide services we have. And for me, it's more just, how can I find a way to promote more of them? Because centers are completely in love with the center of excellence idea. And I have people applying to be a center of excellence like every single month. I have a center come up with a new idea. For example, the University of Pittsburgh wants to specialize in supply chain management. So that, getting diverse businesses in with like the UPMC system for health and things like that. So there's always something new coming up. And I like to keep it interesting. So it keeps me on my toes for sure.
And you have a front row seat. And what's awesome,
Mhm.
I love what you just described. And just to kind of like unpack that, when, so like you said, somebody is at a rural SBDC, they might have an area of expertise that maybe somebody right smack in city center Philadelphia needs, whether,
Mhm. Yep.
food market or, something that really, maybe Etsy or, some type of service that
Exactly.
they
Yeah.
have an expertise. Now that person in Philadelphia can have access, and it works both ways. And I love, I was an SBDC advisor, as you know, Sarah, years ago. And sometimes
Mhm.
it's challenging as a consultant where you had to be a little bit of everything to everybody. But now what you've done with the Center of Excellence is like now you're creating, like they can really truly be that subject matter expert. And now you can quarterback and get the right client to the right
Yep.
person. What a powerful solution that is,
Mhm.
right?
It's
Very,
great.
very exciting. So let's talk about webinars, workshops, events. Boy, I don't know anybody that was more aggressive than you and your team at Temple. You guys, just did an amazing job covering all sorts of fascinating topics. Talk a little bit about what would entrepreneurs out there, what would they see or expect with webinars or workshops at their local SBDC?
Yeah, sure. And I mean, once again, I think people have really pivoted to webinars. So,
Mhm.
I mean, you could be in New Jersey. We've had people on our manufacturing series with you, Kurt, from like Washington, Texas. I mean, if
Yeah,
they see
all
it,
over.
they sign up. You can sign
Yep.
up. Obviously, we're Pennsylvania focused, but a lot of the content is
Yeah.
universal. But um, it really runs the gamut. For those of you who are in the first steps, we do run a session called First Steps about 5 to 10 times a month.
Yep.
So there's always someone there to help you if you're in that ideation stage. But we also do like QuickBooks. We have multiple people who are QuickBooks certified. So if you're trying to get your banking and your financial reconciliations in order, our digital marketing center of excellence at Temple puts on about 30 webinars a month just on their own. And like you had mentioned, Kurt, Etsy, WordPress, Google Analytics. I mean, it basically covers the gamut, search engine optimization. We have a center of excellence for agriculture. So if you had questions around building a food stand or what it takes to make a food truck or farming to table, how to get your items into a grocery store, we have webinars, many of them on demand, many of them live in those key areas. So we basically cover the main basics of a small business. So marketing, financials, first steps, licensing, HR questions. You'll find webinars on that pretty much every month. And then because we have these centers of excellence, you get to find some of those more specialized programs as well, which is very cool.
Right. And
Yeah.
I know we're starting to wind down on time. We've got a hard stop here coming up. Question that I really want to ask, so COVID, do you hear about that COVID thing, Sarah? That happened a couple of years ago. It was like this little thing that came around. I don't know, kind of
Yeah.
changed our lives just a little bit, right? So, everybody thrown a major, major curveball 2 years ago. Okay. So now, boy, society just keeps changing, economy, jobs, this, that, the other thing, a lot of ebb and flow. So for any entrepreneur, whether you're not in manufacturing, thank you for joining us today. If you're an entrepreneur out there, and as Sarah, as you're just saying, if you are new, maybe you're a corporate warrior for the past 30 years. You're, older dude like me, and all of a sudden thrown a curveball of like job downsizing or what have you. Could be somebody out of college. Like, I don't want a career. I want to go into entrepreneurship. You help nurture that first time entrepreneur. Can you just talk a little bit about, and you dropped me a note about like emergency planning. We don't always plan for COVID. We don't plan for a downsize.
Yeah.
How does SBDC help folks with that part of it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one thing I will say, because there's two things here. I'll start with starting a business first. Interestingly enough, believe it or not, we saw more people start businesses during the pandemic than the 3 years prior.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was the pivot. A lot of people pivoted, and a lot of people started side hustles. I mean, because they had more time,
Yeah.
or they were at
Yeah.
home. But certainly entrepreneurship did not die because everyone was sitting at home. If anything, it just increased. So that's something that we certainly are always focusing on. We have some metrics that we're required to meet to get our funding every year. And one of them is business start. So obviously that's always really top of mind for us, is how can we help more people figure out if starting a business is the right fit. And sometimes people come to us and they realize it's not the right fit, but we want to be able to purposefully walk people through that process and figure out if entrepreneurship is really the right thing for them. Do you have financials that make sense? Is there a target market for this? Those are the biggest things I always tell someone if they're planning to start is, have you done any market research on, who's interested in this? How many people in your geographic area would buy this? And then does the financials pan out? Like, what price do you have to pay to break even? Realizing that break even means you put in effort to make no money, to just not lose money. You have to actually have the pricing make sense so that you make enough money for this to be worthwhile. So like I said, we have startup specialists that walk through all of that with you. If you're listening to this and thinking, oh yeah, I probably should start considering some of that, but it seems really overwhelming, just talk to your SBDC consultant. They walk you through it step by step. To your other question though, Kurt, certainly emergency planning is something that we have been focusing on at the SBDC, and we're actually about to launch a program here in Pennsylvania specifically for growth clients. So like you had mentioned at the beginning of the session, Kurt, clients that have been in business for 5, 10 plus years, who need some help with not just growing but sustaining. And that's something that a lot of small business owners don't think about at the beginning of their endeavor, and then it just kind of falls to the wayside as you grow and grow, because like I said, a small business owner has 10 hats. I mean, you're doing so many different things.
Exactly, right.
Remembering to put a process in place for what happens if there's a tornado, or what happens if there's a cyber breach, or what happens if there's a pandemic. I mean, those things just don't come up in your normal day-to-day conversation. So we're starting a new growth program specifically to help businesses understand the value of their business. So when you are looking at succession or resiliency or insurance, if something happens to you or your business, what is the plan that you have in place for someone to take over or to sell the business and still make a profit? Or what is your business even worth at the end of the day, so you can make these informed decisions? And then of course, cybersecurity is one that small business owners almost never think about. So are you password protecting? Do you have backups of your data? What would you do if someone, ransomed your data? How much would you pay? What can you do to make sure you're never in that situation?
Right.
Those are some of those really big picture questions that no one likes to talk about, but during the pandemic, it sure came up a lot. And so we're going to continue that momentum. Like I said, we're building out programming specifically to make sure that just because we kind of leave the most emergency portion of the pandemic doesn't mean that you should stop thinking about these really important items, because it'll save your butt down the road if something ever were to happen.
Yeah. Oh, that was fantastic. I'm so glad you shared that, because now I'm panicking. No, I'm just kidding. I'm teasing. So, Sarah, I know you have a hard stop. I want to be mindful, respectful of your time here. So first off, happy anniversary to you. I hope you and your husband, Damon, hopefully we're here for like their 50th. Sarah, we want to be invited to your 50th.
Good. Yeah.
I have to pull Damon and I out of the, I don't know, we might not be here for that one, but maybe the 25th. We'll be here for the 25th. How's that?
Yeah,
All right.
There we go.
All right. So, Sarah, thank you for your passion, your energy. Hey, big shout out to Joanne. Tell a heartfelt shout out to Joanne. Tell her that she got a little love today on our program, and just what an inspiration she is to have developed and nurtured what a wonderful professional that you are. So anybody out there, we want to wish you an amazing, incredible, wonderful week. Sarah, next Monday, we have a colleague of yours. We have Carl Brown, who is the director of the Washington D.C.
Yes.
Yeah. He's on the History Channel's series, Food That Built America. Yeah. He has a crazy, wild podcast. So Carl's going to be with us next Monday. So we're hitting SBDC this month. So guys, go out there, do yourself a favor, visit the SBDC, where the one nearest closest to you. And so have an amazing, incredible week. Damon, we have a loaded week of guests on Facebook.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a great one.
Tuesday and Thursday. We have Dr. Natalie Nixon on our show Friday, which is gonna be our blockbuster. So guys, go out, keep spreading your awesomeness. Have a great week. Sarah, any parting thoughts? Any words of wisdom for us as we wrap up here?
I mean, I guess I'll just first and foremost say thank you for once again having me here. It's always a pleasure to talk with Kurt and Damon. They really bring the energy. And then, of course, it's easier for me to come with the energy as well. So I appreciate the time to share my life experience and to share the information about the SBDC. In terms of parting words of wisdom, I guess, go to your local SBDC. We're here for you. And I only advocate for things that I truly believe in. I wouldn't work for the SBDC and work this hard to promote it and let people know that it exists if I didn't really believe and see the tangible results every single day. So you might not even think you need something. Doesn't hurt to just ask and see what advice you can get from a consultant.
Yeah. And thank you, sir. And to wrap up on this, I can't overestimate, right? at such a young age to become the associate state
Yeah.
director, your passion,
Awesome.
your energy, your expertise, your dedication to the success of entrepreneurs is truly off the charts. I've had the honor, Damon, I've had the honor and privilege of watching you firsthand. So kudos to you for all that you do for entrepreneurs in a great state of Pennsylvania. We'll end on that. Sarah, hang out half a second. Guys, have a blessed day, and we will see you on
Thanks
Friday.
so much, everyone.
Thanks, Damon.